Okay, so I've never done multiple videos. Hi. I didn't even say hi. Hi, it's Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook. I've never done multiple videos in one day. So so now like you're seeing me in the same shirt over again. And I was gonna originally just like go one at a time, but I told you I couldn't do all of my January reads because I wanted to talk specifically about Here Comes the Sun, which you saw me do if you saw the video. And if you didn't, you can check it out. And I wanted to talk about The Orphan Keeper because I thought these really had a lot of depth and needed to have a little bit more of a book chat than just a wrap up. And I don't know how long people tend to talk when they do wrap ups. There's another one that I want to talk a little bit more about that was a January read that I read and I wanted to talk about a little bit more in depth. And that's called In Order to Live. And the last book that I read for January was A Murder at Rodmans Gate. So I'm going to talk about this one first because it's probably the least amount of information that I'm going to have to talk about, and this one last. But these are my January reads. So you can see them there. See? Look. And for me, that's pretty great because I really read slow. So if you look at the size, like especially The Orphan Keeper, that could have just been my whole January because I just have a lot going on and I just don't get into, or I don't get an opportunity to read as much as I'd like. So anyways, I'm taking now more time and I didn't want to talk about everything. So let's get on it, girl. Okay, so let's start with this one. This one is called A Murder at Rodmans Gate. It's a mystery by Susanna Calkins. Okay, let me give you a chance to look at that one. This is a historical fiction. I love historical fictions. I bought at the end of the year a bunch of different ones. This particular person, I like another author and they recommended this author. And so I found them very inexpensive. So I bought, I think, 3 or 4 by this author. So thank goodness because this one was really cute. And so I enjoyed it. And it's a lighter read than some of these other books that I did read in January. So it was actually good. So I started January off with this book. And it follows Lucy. I'm trying to remember now. Lucy is it is in the 17th century in England, and she's a chambermaid for this very wealthy family there. And the book explores her experience in it's I think somebody said something like, oh, like a Downton Abbey. I liked watching Downton Abbey because you got the upstairs, downstairs. It did a little of that here. It did focus a lot more on just the people that were serving this family, and including Lucy. And I thought it was really nice because, and one of the things I like about historical fictions is it gave you that sense of the period, the way the people talked, the preparations for different types of gatherings. The dynamics, the social status in that, and how they didn't mix. The help doesn't mix with the people that are employing them, their employers, and it did a lot more because it also explored what the mystery was around. Was one of the other girls that worked with Lucy. She was the lady's maid. Was murdered, and Lucy is determined to find out what happened. She's very spunky, very strong-willed. So at times, when you're reading the story, like, oh, don't do that. No, in this time period, it probably isn't a good idea to do that, to be out alone, or to go talk to that man alone, or to walk out there in the dark. So there were moments where I was like, oh, but very good in the pacing of the story. The only part that I would say in the middle-ish of the book, it slowed a little bit less to my liking. But overall, I thought it was a very good debut novel and very intriguing. It explored also the plague in London at the time, because it was that time period, and how people reacted, how fear really dictated. They would bolt up their house and you couldn't get exposed to anybody else. They even were destroying and getting rid of pets, cats, and dogs, because they felt that they were transferring the the plague. So that was a little bit in the story too. So that kind of, I like when they put things like that because it gives you a little bit more depth to the story. What was the other thing that I was thinking that I thought about in here? I did take some notes in this one too. And that's not the right book. But what I thought was they did a good job of keeping me guessing on who did it. I'm never good. Whenever I read a mystery, I'm 99% never right. I don't know what it is, you know, and it's not like I don't read mysteries at times, so I should know, right? So I didn't know who did it until the very last minute. So, but it was good. It had those, you know, in the last little bit of the book, you just couldn't put it down because you wanted to find out. And then you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, what is going to happen? Definitely a good one if you like historical fictions. Like, again, I said, it's in the 17th century England. And it was nice. It's a good debut novel. I figured I'd start with the first one because authors progress and they usually get better. But I thought I would start with the first one. So that was my first read in January. This is my second read was Here Comes the Sun, which I did a review on. I won't talk about. Loved it. My last one was The Orphan Keeper. The third one rather was The Orphan Keeper, and wow, loved it. Read it, loved it. And then this last one, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have 2 chapters left, but because we've now rolled into February, and I did want a chance to talk about this because I think it's a very good book. And I wanted to spend and do my other video this month on Black History books because it's Black History Month. So I'm putting this in here. I'm sneaking and cheating because I don't have the last 2 chapters of this done, but I will finish it today, which is February, 2nd? Come on. I told y'all I don't go like January 1st I don't go to it's never that clean, you know. I saw this book around for a while. It's called In Order to Live, A North Korean Girl's Journey to Freedom. I'm going to bring it in closer because it's got that plastic and the sun in here keeps pulsing like a heartbeat. So it's hard to see the cover, but it's got a picture of her on the cover. And her name, let me just say it. It's Yeonmi. I believe that's how you say it. No, Yeonmi. Yeonmi. Yeah. Yeonmi Park. Okay. And she's born in Haesen, North Korea. And this is based on her experience and her family's experience in North Korea and getting out. Wow. Okay. I don't think I've read anything about North Korea. So this is my first. What I know of North Korea is bits in the news. So to read a firsthand experience is heartbreaking. This one definitely is heartbreaking because she's only a little girl, and that makes it even harder to take some of the things. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun out here. The book explores her and her mother, her sister and her father, and their experience in North Korea, and how the country keeps the people oppressed through lack of any outside world. You can't see the TV shows, you can't listen to music, there's no news, internet, there's none of that. They are stopped, basically they've stopped in time, and the only thing that they have to do is worship their ruler. And there's so much propaganda fed to the people that it's heartbreaking. One of the things that I was reading last night, which really broke my heart, is that, well, you know that she actually escapes, so I'm not spoiling it. When she does finally escape, and she's in South Korea, when they're trying to teach her stuff, she's been so deeply indoctrinated. And the way that that's written is so lovely. I can't pull it out of my head for the life of me. But she just has a hard time accepting and understanding that what is being told her now is true. Wow, I've never had the phone ring while I'm on. Okay. Can we ignore it? We have to ignore it. It'll stop. We'll probably hear the message. Okay. So anyway, I'm not doing this video over again. You're all just going to listen to my message. Hopefully not a long one. And hopefully not my son's school. No, they didn't leave a message. Thank the Lord. So, lost my train of thought. So, I think that this is an important book. It's important because, again, this just like these other two books, okay? We have to recognize all of the liberties that we have. You know, even under our current administration, we live in a country where we have access to information. We aren't plugged out from the world. We have the ability to think independently and talk. And these are things that we take for granted until it's not. And when you read about other people, then it just makes you appreciate that much more how wonderful it is to be able to live in a country that doesn't do these type of things. I think this is a must read. I think it's important, particularly because we have fears and valid fears of the nuclear capabilities of the North Koreans, and we need to understand more how to figure out how this can be undone and how these people can be free. Her plea in the book is to tell you, I want you to know my story, not to feel sorry for me. I want you, as a free person, to help me help free my people. And that's really, it's really a sad story, but it's very, you know, happy that she actually gets out. But what she's seen and had to do to survive is just devastating. A definite read, a definite 5 out of 5. I think I have a harder time not giving a high score to books that are true stories that move me. So I always think about the ranking of stars and stuff. I think that this achieved what it's supposed to do. And I think that it provided information that I learned, you know, I took a lot of notes while reading this book. So I don't know how I could call it a 4 or a 3 because it did what it was supposed to do. It stirred my interest. It made me curious. Now, the true question where I might go now to a 4.5 will be if I get to the end of this book, which I have this much to go, see that little bitty right there to go. If I get to the end of this book and there isn't resources on how to help, that's where I will get angry. And I may say, you know what, that's a 4.5 because you brought me all the way to the edge and then you didn't give me anything. And that's what you've got to do, I feel, in these books. If you want help and you want people to, you have to then do some of the due diligence and do some of the work to help people help. So, awesome. So these are my January reads, and look at that. I mean, for me, you may never see this big a pile again, so let's all praise it. I am not a big book, a big, huge amount of books per month. So that was my January reads. I am going to do another video to tell you about what I plan on reading for Black History Month. And I hope you all have a great Black History Month and keep reading. Do check out these books. They were all wonderful books. I've started off the year great with my reading. I haven't had any books that I didn't enjoy. So I can't wait to see what you guys are reading. And I hope you have a blessed day. And I'm really excited because the sun is shining here very bright. So it's going to be a great day. Thanks for taking the time to listen. And I hope to talk to you soon.